Calm down. Calm down. Calm down. Good afternoon. We're here today to show you the process of tanning a rabbit hide. I learned about a new way to tan a rabbit hide by using egg yolks, salt and egg yolks. Never heard of this before until a couple weeks ago, and I'm anxious to try it. So I'm going to take you guys along, and hopefully we'll learn a cheap, fast way to tan a rabbit hide. So as you see here, we have our rabbit hide. I processed this guy a couple days ago. So he's been sitting in salt for about 48 hours. As you can see, there's some nice salt on there. And I have about 4 eggs here from our chickens. So really the cost of this is pretty minimal. The cost of the salt is about the extent of that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just get my egg yolks ready. Like I said, all I want is the yolk. So I'm just going to pour off these egg whites. And it looks like the kitties are coming to eat the egg whites. Cat. Okay. There's one. And I read about 3 or 4 egg yolks should be fine to do 1 rabbit hide. There's 2. So I'm just going to go with 4 and see how it goes. I just lost that one. 3. And 4. Alright. Wash my hands off a little bit. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is kind of break up this salt on here, so we can start scraping it off. You want to be careful. Rabbit skin, it's pretty delicate, so we don't want to break the skin at all. So I'm just going to loosen this salt up. Alright, so it looks like the salt's a little broken up on here. I'm going to just start taking the excess salt off. What I'm going to try to do is shake off some of the excess stuff, and then we'll do a little bit of a scrape over the hide. Okay. Just to show you guys the pretty fur and the colors. Rabbit fur is so pretty. Alright, so I'm just going to gently kind of scrape some of the salt off the hide. Again, be nice and gentle. Okay, let's pour some of that off and get some of this off the sheet pan. Alright. With a little bit of water, I'm just going to try to wash some of this salt off. Rub that. Not a lot, just enough to kind of rinse some of this salt off of here. Okay, shake it off again a little bit. Now obviously there's still going to be some salt on here, but that's okay, because once we finish this process, in about 48 hours again, we will give it a bath. So all the salt and anything that's on it will be washed off. But you want to get most of that excess off before you put your yolk on. Alright, so now we have our cleaned up hide. No holes, so everything looks pretty good. Now let's just give this yolk a little stir. I'm going to start to pour on the yolk and rub it in. Now they say that this works because if you've heard about brain tanning, because you can use, you know, the brain of any animal to tan your hides. But it contains a lot of the same things as the brain does, which is why it will work. Alright, just gently rub that in there, get it all covered. Okay, should be enough there. So yeah, it seems about 3 egg yolks is plenty for a standard rabbit hide. This looks pretty good. So we're just going to rub that in. You don't want a whole lot. You don't want clumps and puddles of egg yolk. You just want a nice thin, even layer all the way, all over the skin. So that looks pretty good. So like I said, this is going to sit for another 2 days while all that works into the skin. And then when we're done, we will, in 2 days, we will get a nice soapy, warm bucket of water, and we will wash this until it's nice and soft. So I'll continue this in 2 days and we'll show you that process. Now I also, before we go with this part, I want to show you what we did a couple days ago as well. Now I always like to utilize everything I can from an animal. So here, let me wash my hands off a little bit. Okay, so here I have the feet, the rabbit feet. And what I had done is place this in rubbing alcohol for 2 days. Now that the 2 days is up, we're going to wash the feet in a mixture of borax and water and wash them very good, and then we're going to let it sit to dry. And once that's done, you should have nice preserved feet that you could obviously make into a necklace or your rabbit's foot keychain, or you could just sell them as it is. People like to utilize these things for different crafts. So the possibilities are endless as far as the rabbit's feet are concerned. So here's one of them. The cats and the bees are all over the place. Alright, so it's been soaking in the rubbing alcohol. Now what I'm going to do is add some water to the borax so I can wash it in it. Okay. And I didn't do any measuring. I put about probably a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of borax and a few cups of water just to make a nice little solution. Alright, so I'm going to take the foot and I'm going to wash it. I even have the front paws and the back paws. Most people probably only use the back paws for their keychains and such, but I think it's nice to have all of them. You never know what people might want to use them for. Okay. Pour that out here. Okay. So here's our 4th little one for the front paw. So I'm just going to wash them gently. Get all that rubbing alcohol off. Let that borax get into the paw. A nice wash. And now that I washed them in that, as soon as I get it nice and washed, I'll squeeze out the excess liquid and I'll set them out to dry. And once they are dry, they should be well preserved for anything you want to use them for. Also, before you put them into the rubbing alcohol, you should trim their claws down a little bit. You know, rabbits have pretty sharp claws, so you don't want people to get hurt. So you want to file them down or trim them down as best as you can. Okay, so there you have it. We have some rabbit feet, we got the fur, and obviously, again, with the rabbit fur, there's many things you can make, whether it be hats or gloves. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's about it for today, and I'll be back with the washing of the skin and see how it turned out. Thank you.